What's up, you guys? Namicon here, bringing you my perspective of what entertainment is bringing us. And welcome to another new episode of Worthy or Not, where I talk about video game characters where they are worthy of joining the Super Smash Bros. Franchise. And today is a big one. Today, I'll be talking about Jill Valentine from the Resident Evil franchise. She was introduced as one of the two player characters in the original Resident Evil game, which was released in 1996. Jill Valentine is a former member of the Raccoon City Police Department's STARS team, and she initially worked alongside her partner Chris Redfield to fight the Umbrella Corporation, a pharmaceutical company whose bioterrorism creates zombies and other bioorganic weapons. Jill and Chris Redfield later become founding members of the United Nations Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance, or in short, BSAA. Jill Valentine has been not only one of the protagonists of the first Resident Evil game, she is the main lead character in Resident Evil 3. And she has been also in several other games, such as the Revelations 1, along with novelizations, movies, and other sorts of media. And she has been considered to be considered to be one of the main faces of the Resident Evil franchise, and she's been featured in several crossovers too, including Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, and Project Cross Zone. So yeah, Jill Valentine has a very good resume. So video game publications listed Valentine among the most popular and iconic video game characters, and praised her as the most likable and consistent Resident Evil character. So, yeah, So in terms of being worthy for Super Smash Bros., yeah, honestly, what is there to say? She is beyond worthy of joining Super Smash Bros. It's Jill Valentine. Like, she herself is beyond worthy of joining Super Smash Bros. Like, I have no complaints about her. Resident Evil as a franchise should get a playable character. At this point, I don't even care if it's Jill Valentine. I'll also take Chris Redfield or Leon Kennedy as well. In fact, I would actually prefer Leon. If I were to choose between Jill Valentine or Leon Kennedy as who I would choose as a playable fighter for Super Smash Bros. For me, it would be Leon Kennedy, but Jill Valentine. If Jill Valentine was chosen, I would not be complaining. You will not hear any complaints from me, since her and Chris Redfield were like the very first protagonists for Resident Evil. Also, speaking of Resident Evil, it's literally Capcom's most popular franchise by far. Like, it's not even close. It's their only gaming franchise to have sold over 100 million units. Like, I think at this point, Resident Evil getting a character is over is due now. Like, Capcom has got Mega Man and then Ryu, now Ken for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. They also got a lot of Monster Hunter content in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but they're not a playable character at this moment, considering that the developers of the Monster Hunter franchise do not really want a playable hunter in any crossover games. Well, that we don't count Infinite because Capcom themselves did that behind their backs, apparently. Yeah, that really pissed the hunter being playable in Infinite really pissed off the devs of Monster Hunter, apparently. I don't know if that has been confirmed or not, but I will not be surprised if that's true. But let's go to Resident Evil being worthy of Smash. But yeah, in terms of making a moveset, I mean, I there is I think one of the main features that Resident Evil has compared to other video games is how to manage your resources. In Resident Evil, managing your resources is essential because you don't really get a lot. It is a survival horror game for crying out loud. If you want to make it as terrifying as possible, don't you might as well not expect you might as well not expect that much help. And with the resources you get, you have to use it wisely. And you also don't get that much ammo. So I feel like that should be incorporated in any of the Resident Evil characters as moveset if either Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Leon Kennedy, or even Claire Redfield ever join as playable characters in Super Smash Bros. So if I were to choose what costume I would choose for Jill Valentine as her main costume, it would definitely be her costume from her police uniform from the very first game. That is whenever whenever I think of Jill Valentine, that is the main costume I think of. Although her costume from Resident Evil 3 is also iconic too, but I just feel like her police uniform design is much more iconic, at least in my eyes. And if she were to get in Super Smash Bros., I don't want her. I also want Chris Redfield, Leon Kennedy, and Claire Redfield to join her as well. Like, I want it to be like something like the Dragon Quest hero from the Dragon Quest characters. Like you got the protagonist from Dragon Quest 11, Dragon Quest 3, Dragon Quest 4, and Dragon Quest 8. I want Resident Evil to have that. The only thing that stands against them is whether the next Super Smash Bros. Is rated E10 or not. If the next Super Smash Bros. Game is rated E10, I do not see Resident Evil getting a playable character at all. Because nowadays the ESRB are getting super strict on representation of M-rated characters on the lower end of T in E for Everyone games, including E10. But if the next Super Smash Bros. Game is rated T for teen, I think they're a very likely contender. Yeah, it all depends if the next Super Smash Bros. Game is rated E10 or T for teen, because like I said, if the next Smash game is rated E10, do not expect them at all. But Jill Valentine and Resident Evil as a whole, they're beyond worthy. They are absolutely worthy of joining Smash. Like it's literally the most popular survival horror franchise of all time. It literally pioneered and popularized the survival horror genre. Without Resident Evil, we would not have the survival horror genre. Like, no, that is not a cap. Without Resident Evil, we would not get Silent Hill. We would not get Dead Space, etc. We would not get those types of games. It's that influential. It has so many, Resident Evil's so popular that to the point where it got so many movies. Although they're not good, but the fact that they made over 5 movies is really telling. It really shows how super popular this franchise is. I think another factor that stands against Resident Evil is it's pretty niche in Japan. I mean, not to say it's not not to say it's not to say nobody knows it in Japan. People know it. It's just a I wouldn't say it's popular. It does have it does have a following over there, but here in the West, everyone knows Resident Evil. Like everyone knows Resident Evil. Even if you're not a gamer, you know Resident Evil. Like it isn't Capcom's most popular franchise for a reason. Like the as of now, they have been represented in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as spirits. I do hope they get more content later down the line as Super Smash Bros. Progress. Though if they were to get though if I want them to get though if they were likely to get like a playable character, the next Smash Bros. Game would have to be rated T for teen, honestly. But anyways, Resident Evil beyond worthy. They're I don't care who they choose. I would I would choose Leon Kennedy, but Chris Redfield, Claire Redfield, Jill Valentine, Leon Kennedy. I don't care. I don't care who they pick. Either of the four of them. I would even pick what I would be fine with Wesker. Like honestly, you pick you're gonna pick five of them, and I'll be okay with it because Resident Evil is beyond it's over. They're overdue of getting a playable character. It honestly, like, yeah. So what are you guys' thoughts on Jill Valentine or any of the Resident Evil characters? Do you guys think they're worthy of joining Smash? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and make sure you follow my Instagram, Letterboxd, and Backlogged accounts down in the description down below. And make sure you join my entertainment Discord server, Damage Inc., down in the description down below. This is Namicon, and I'll see you next time.